Hey, I hope that you're enjoying this holiday weekend with family and friends celebrating the country's birthday. For this episode of the TJ Evans Show, I decided to go on the streets and talk to the people to see what they think about the country and where we're headed. So let's see what they had to say. And mind you, it really wasn't easy. I tried to talk to like 20, 25 people, and only 3 individuals talked to me. And I was on a pretty liberal side of town, so I thought they would be more open, but apparently not. And it was only minorities. The white Democrats didn't want to talk. But hope you enjoy these conversations. I'm your host, TJ Evans, with another episode of the TJ Evans Show, and today we decided to go outside to hear what the people think in real life, everyday world, average day Americans on the direction of the country and how they feel about it in this 4th of July weekend. So happy Independence Day. This one individual wanted to remain anonymous from fear of losing his job or backlash on social media, but we had a pretty good conversation and he was pretty much open to new information.
All right, so personally, like I don't know how I feel about the gun laws. I mean, I kind of just don't like a lot of the shooting that's going on. I understand to protect yourself in like the Second Amendment, but when it comes to like actually like, I mean, the ability to use it, like the ease of access to it, I don't know how I feel about it. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And when you say the easy access, do you feel like we need to have stricter laws like background checks and things like that?
To be honest, I think it could be that. But to be perfectly honest, I don't know like all the laws when it comes to like the background checks and everything. So yeah.
Well, honestly tell you, the background checks are there, and a lot of times when we see mass shootings that go on, a lot of these individuals were on the FBI watch list, and they were taken off, and as soon as they were taken off, they actually committed those heinous crimes. So a lot of the times it's with the government organization that we already have in place that's not doing their job.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, even when you heard about the situation that happened with the gymnastics team being assaulted.
Yeah, I heard about that.
The FBI failed to do their job correctly, and that's why that individual was able to assault that many women.
Yeah, and then that, to be honest, something like that even happened at like a popular university in California recently. I don't know how. I mean, I know the Olympic team is something else, but stuff like that happens in like universities as well. So yeah, so yeah.
And when I want to ask the quick question, put the camera on. And then I want to ask a quick question: how do you feel about the job that Joe Biden is doing in the country as president?
That's a tough question, to be honest. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, quick thing that you can just to scale it with gas. Yeah, gas being like almost $5 now around the country versus just a few years ago when it was around $2.
To be honest, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Like, I mean, there's a lot of ignorance that I do have around some of the stuff around that. So from my understanding, like I believe the gas like cost per barrel was more expensive back in the day. It's cheaper now, but I guess when it comes to potentially like incentives, I don't think that that's being offered as much as it was in the past.
Well, what if I told you during Trump's presidency, we actually were a net exporter of energy, of oil and things like that, and when Joe Biden got into office, he actually closed down American pipelines and gas started rising from there.
Is that for like the purpose of, I guess, to drive like renewable energy, or is that more so from a standpoint of just like stopping oil? I mean, the main thing that he ran on was clean energy. Okay. So that would be one of the reasons why. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I don't have the right answers. I think to be honest, when it comes to just making things right, I think a lot is going to take consistency, even if it's ugly for one side for a little bit or the other side. I mean, I don't know if it'd ever be the right way, to be honest, man.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I mean, but that's just my take.
One more question, and I'm gonna let you get out of here. With the Supreme Court and their decision about Roe versus Wade, how do you feel about the whole overturning of it?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I'll straight up and say that. The thing is, like, this is what I believe in. Like, regardless of whatever somebody's decision is, if like say for example, like you don't agree on abortion, or you do, I mean, I think that's your decision versus like somebody saying you can and can't do that. I think that should be open to the individual people and their point in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that was the funny thing. A lot of people don't even understand that with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, it actually made it easier. It was more of a pro-choice decision than what people actually understand, because it left the decision up to the states to dictate their abortion laws. So it left it in the hands of the people to vote for their state officials, because there's only 6 states in the actual United States that don't provide abortions at all. But there are other states in the union that actually provide abortions all the way up to 9 months.
Oh, Okay, I see. Yeah.
So it's actually, it just loosened the power of the federal government, which is a good thing because we're United States of America, independent states.
Okay, now that's pretty interesting. To be honest, I didn't know that. So yeah.
So yeah, just go ahead, do your research because I really want more people to be informed on what's going on in America.
Okay, yeah, thank
you for your time, sir.
What's your name?
TJ. The TJ Evans Show on Royal Family Studios. You can check us out on YouTube, subscribe to the page and all that good stuff.
Okay, perfect.
I talk about all that stuff.
Okay.
See, not a bad conversation. And I feel like this is how most Americans are. They're just misinformed or they just don't know what's going on around them. But our next conversation, it leads us to a socialist. And for some reason, we agree on more things than I can with leftists.
So how do you feel about Joe Biden and his presidency? How do you feel about the job he's been doing?
Joe Biden, I mean, as my grandmother once said, I hate every American president.
Okay.
Joe Biden is just another continuation of the Democrat Party, just putting on a smiling face, but still treating us black and brown folks the same, like that football, like Malcolm X was saying. They got nothing for us, but throwing us under the bus. Joe Biden might have made a lot of promises to get us to vote for him, but at the end of the day, like he's still starting wars in other countries. He's the one who destabilized Honduras, like and put into this border crisis that everyone is like worried about. He started that. Yeah. Like, and that's my people down there. So like, it doesn't matter like what little band-aids he might put on the system that he created to be a parasite on my people. No, I don't mess with Joe Biden.
Okay. And how do you feel about just him and the Democrats and their attack on guns, like them trying to ban guns?
I've been saying, people think I'm crazy. It really is like, you don't have a gun in this country to defend yourself when there's mass shooters like these crazy ass white boys out in Walmart just like shooting at people and you don't got a gun, then you're insane.
And they feel that the best thing to do to deal with criminals is to take guns away from law-abiding citizens.
Take guns away from law-abiding citizens trying to protect themselves and their family. So it's a smokescreen saying that the real problem is like it can be solved by relying on that same government that's been attacking us just the same. So it was a Democrat, Barack Obama, who put tanks in Ferguson, Missouri. We ain't got to worry about this like any of these problems. If we have we are able to like militantly arm ourselves with discipline. Like that's not impossible to be able to organize our own self-defense. Like this country, like Atlanta, Black Mecca, like is a city built by black people. Same with cities all over the country. You have black economies back in the day. All black schools, and you can't have like all black militias to be able to defend a community. That don't make sense.
So it would be harmful for American citizens to disarm themselves.
100%.
So you feel that people should be able to arm themselves. People need an AR-15 at least.
100%.
All right. And we see currently right now with Roe versus Wade being overturned by the Supreme Court. What is your opinion on that?
Oh, I'm excited about that.
So you feel that it's a good thing that it was overturned?
I think that this focus on individual women's rights are actually like individual like white women's rights. There are ways that we've seen other countries like do programs that actually like take care of black mothers to be able to like actually, because I heard Stacey Abrams say like, oh, but birth rates are complications and death among black women is 3 times higher. Then don't fund abortions, fund better doctors.
Exactly, because right now our black babies are being aborted up to 40%. They're taking up 40% of the abortions. So
that sounds a lot like population control. Like the medical system is no stranger to population control for black and brown folks.
It seems more likely that we're actually going to be doing well as a minority community. It feels like our community will be growing now since Roe versus Wade was overturned, not banning abortions, but making it a state's issue.
Right.
So,
and it's funny that you say minority, and it's like black folks in this country, and even indigenous people like myself, we're only a minority if we think of ourselves separate from this global from a global population. They're like our African countries, like when Gaddafi was alive in Libya, solved this this problem of how do we like lower the abortion rate? By taking care of black mothers, and saying like, if you have a child, we will take care of your child until they turn 18, so that you don't have to make a difficult decision that's going to stick with you the rest of your life.
But at the same time, when the state does get involved, that was one of the difficulties, because they did kick out the black man in the family when the mothers married the state.
Oh yeah.
So that's the only thing that would be dangerous. So with me, what I would be promoting is the family. Pretty much man, woman, and child coming together, the nuclear family.
I do agree with you that the American welfare state is the devil. And it's not every system is created equal. You have revolutionary governments like my people in Cuba, like under Gaddafi's Libya, but under Joe Biden's America. Yes, the welfare state is 100% about dividing families, about dividing communities, like mentally, physically, with highways through communities, with putting up the miseducation in public schools, even criminalizing young kids, children, treating them like prisoners.
What I will say is, a lot of times when the government gets involved and gets too big, that's usually when the country tends to fall. If we actually went back to just the family structure and just the family unit, and actually being a community and growing the community ourselves and take care of ourselves, we'll probably be doing better as a people, as a people in general, than relying on the government wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I got you. I would say that as long as you have a government that is under the complete control of the people, that would make it a pretty big government. If it's if it's the rule of the people for their own rights, someone to be able to defend their own dictatorship over themselves. That doesn't necessarily mean you have to have this this bureaucracy. It's the same. It's basically the same issue as making sure everyone is armed. You make sure you give them the control over their life. And then it turns out that's a pretty good way to run society. Making sure they have that full control over their land, their life, their labor.
Well, thank you for your time.
Of course.
All right, appreciate it.
It was another civilized, respectful conversation. I disagree with him wholeheartedly on government. I do not believe that government needs to be bigger in any shape or fashion, but it was still respectful. Our last conversation is with a social studies teacher, and we had a pretty good chat as well.
How do y'all feel where we're going?
Honestly, it's moving in a direction to where I've been considering moving out of the country.
You just ready to leave?
Yeah, I think so. I've lived outside of the country before, and since I've been back, I'm like, there's just been a lot of things that's just been happening. Like you were saying, current events that I'm just like, I don't know if this is the struggle that I want to choose. I know the grass is always greener, but I don't really want this one.
Do you feel like this is a recent thing, or has it been going on for the last few years?
I think it's been going on for the last few years. I think COVID and the pandemic amplified a lot of it. But yeah, I think it's within. I feel like it's kind of always been like this, but also due to the media, which has a huge impact. I think it's just a lot of things have been amplified over the last few years because of the media.
And with Joe Biden in his first couple of years as president, job-wise, how's he been doing? If you had to rate him from 1 to 10, 10 being the best.
Well, it won't be that. We'll give him. Honestly, we'll give him a 4. We'll give him a 4.
Do you feel like in certain what places do you feel that he could improve in?
So I'm an educator.
Okay.
And I think he can improve in education because the education system right now is not the best. It hasn't always been the best, but it's clear that it's not the best. And so I haven't heard anything about education other than little stipends that we receive from the state, from Brian Kemp, but as far as from the government.
And all right, so we have people talking about the AR-15 and wanting to ban that weapon. Do you know anything about gun laws and the weapons like AR-15?
I don't know much about AR-15. Isn't that like an assault rifle?
Well, it's a semi-automatic rifle. People on the media will tell you there's assault rifle. The AR stands for assault rifle, but it doesn't. It stands for armor light rifle.
Okay.
It's the company that makes the rifle.
I don't know much about it. I think it's a hard thing to determine. I don't think that. It's in the Constitution. That's even controversy in itself. But I'm like, I get why people want to have guns, but then I'm also like, I don't think it's that deep to have as many guns as people have. So I get protecting people's rights.
And the right to protect yourself.
Yeah, and the right to protect yourself, but the reason behind it, that's what I do question.
Okay, and with the Roe versus Wade overturning, and that's been getting a lot of people in an uproar, do you feel that the court overturning that was a good or a bad thing?
If I'm honest, I don't know. And I say I don't know because, one, I'm a Christian, so I get why the conservatives are for the overturning of Roe versus Wade, but I also love people, and I'm for social justice. And I do believe that if we're going to protect the rights of gun owners, we should be protecting the rights of women too.
All right, and all right, so constitutional wise, Second Amendment is in the Constitution. Abortion isn't particularly in the Constitution, and with the overturn of Roe versus Wade, it didn't really ban abortions like a lot of people thought. It pretty much made it a state issue. And wouldn't that be better for, like, as the country, for the states to deal with their own problems instead of having the federal government being big bad government trying to take over everything?
Yeah, to a certain degree, yes. I think that's why we have. I'm also a social studies teacher. I also think that's why, you know, whenever we when the country first established governments, we had the Federalists who were basically more so emphasizing like governments. So I do believe that there are certain issues that the states should determine, and not that it's a bad thing, but I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I may agree with you that it should be a state situation, but I think there are certain states that are getting out of control. Now that I will say.
Because it gets a little dangerous when the federal government takes a hold of the reins and try to tell people what to do.
It's true.
If their power gets too big, who's to say when they're going to stop?
Right, that's true.
But
it's true.
I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Thank you for standing right here talking to me.
Of course.
Thank you for waiting on the sideline. I appreciate that. Check us out, Royal Family Studios.
I'm gonna go out there once again and just try to push a little harder and see what people think. But it was still pretty good conversations, I believe so. But you let me know in the comment section down below. And also, I'm going to go talk to white conservatives, and I believe they'll be a little bit more open to speak with me than white liberals. But you know, that's just an experiment that I want to have. I'm your host, TJ Evans, with another TJ Evans Show. Y'all comment down below, like this video, subscribe to the page, Royal Family Studios on YouTube and Rumble. And also tell your friends about us. Y'all stay safe, do your own research, stay prayed up, and try to have conversations with people. Just be respectful and civilized about it. Peace. Oh, yeah. Happy Independence Day.